今日もお疲れ様でした。英語で国内ニュースです。優しい英語で今日の出来事をお届けします。
Prime Minister Takaichi recently held a telephone conference with the president of Iran. The conversation lasted about 25 minutes. During the call, the leaders exchanged views, particularly focusing on ensuring stable energy supply and discussing the complex situation in the Middle East region.
The United States and Iran reached a 2-week ceasefire agreement. This deal was finalized just 1 hour before the deadline set by President Trump. Under the terms, Iran will temporarily reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a vital energy passage. Both countries are now claiming that this agreement marks a victory for both sides involved.
The Ministry of Defense announced that at least one ballistic missile was launched from North Korea. The missile was believed to have landed outside Japan's Exclusive Economic Zone, or EAZ. Officials stated that the Ministry of Defense continues to maintain vigilance and monitoring of the situation.
A recent Economic Watcher survey, which measures how workers feel about the economy, showed a decline. The current index was lower than the previous month's reading. This represents the lowest level recorded since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine in February 2022.
Tokyo Shoko Research reported that corporate bankruptcies in fiscal year 2025 reached 10,505 cases. This is a 3.55% increase from the previous year, marking the highest level in 12 years. The report noted that these bankruptcies are influenced by factors such as labor shortages and rising costs of goods.
3 individuals were arrested for robbing a mobile phone store manager in Shinjuku, Tokyo. They stole items worth nearly 17 million yen. 2 suspects claimed they found the opportunity by applying for a dark job advertised on social media. Authorities are investigating the group, suspecting it was a fluid criminal operation.
In Kawasaki, Kanagawa Prefecture, a scaffold collapse occurred during crane dismantling work. 5 people fell, and 3 people died in the accident. Authorities later determined that multiple workers were positioned on top of the crane's heavy weights when the collapse happened.
Australia's Prime Minister held a call with China's Premier to discuss energy security. They addressed the serious energy supply disruption caused by China's fuel export ban, which is related to the Iran conflict. The leaders agreed to strengthen cooperation and communication regarding regional energy security support.
Police conducted a full search of Nanton City, Kyoto Prefecture, for an 11-year-old boy who has been missing since last month. Additionally, as the new school term has begun, police and other authorities are maintaining a heightened alert along the school commute routes.
The Tokyo stock market saw a strong close, with the Nikkei average rising sharply. The gains were boosted by the announcement of a 2-week ceasefire agreement between the U.S. and Iran. This eased excessive concerns regarding the Middle East situation. Additionally, a sudden drop in crude oil prices provided momentum for buying.
次は社会のニュースです。
3 workers died in a high-altitude accident at a steelworks in Kawasaki. The workers were reportedly dismantling a crane and fell after the attached heavy weights detached. Rescue efforts are currently focused on locating one person who is missing. Authorities are investigating the details of the collapse.
In Izumi, Osaka, police confirmed the deaths of 2 women found collapsed and bleeding inside a multi-unit residence. The women were reportedly living together in the apartment. Authorities are currently investigating the full circumstances of death and are working to confirm the identities of the deceased residents.
A major theft occurred at a brand shop in Hiro, Tokyo. Thieves smashed display cases, stealing over 60 brand bags and 15 pieces of high-value jewelry. The estimated damage reached about 70 million yen. Police believe at least 3 suspects were involved, and they were seen leaving the scene by car.
In Tokyo's Kinuta Park, 2 Japanese Zelkova trees recently fell, temporarily blocking the road. This marks the 4th fallen tree in just 1 month. The Park Management Office is investigating the cause of the repeated incidents, leading to calls for a full structural inspection.
Although the Prime Minister passed the 2026 budget, concerns remain about a perceived disregard for the diet. The budget process required intense legislative maneuvering to shorten debate times. This manner of passing the budget may create challenges for the latter half of the diet session, especially with important new laws approaching.
Public infrastructure, like water pipes, roads, and bridges built decades ago, are now reaching the end of their lifespan. At the same time, population decline and aging are reducing usage. This makes it difficult for local governments to cover maintenance costs through fees and taxes, increasing the financial burden on local municipalities.
The wife of a former municipal employee filed a lawsuit against the city. She alleges her husband, who suffered from depression, was subjected to severe mental pressure and workplace bullying by both subordinates and a manager. She claims the city failed in its duty of care, leading to his death.
Shinjuku Ward has begun measures to prevent the short-term resale of large condominiums starting this April. Developers of large new complexes must now submit a plan and consult with the ward before construction begins. The goal is to prevent excessive price inflation and maintain stable housing markets.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
The Nikkei average rose sharply for the 4th day, closing at 56,308.42. This surge came after an agreement for a 2-week ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, easing fears in the Middle East. Falling oil prices also boosted buying interest. The index recovered the key 56,000 level, hitting a 1-month high. Buying was strong in AI, semiconductors, and data center stocks.
The Nikkei average rose sharply, closing at 56,308.42, marking its 3rd largest gain. This was driven by hopes of reduced tension in the Middle East. After Trump announced a 2-week halt to attacks on Iran, oil futures plummeted. The agreement required Iran to allow safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Investors bought widely, anticipating a better economic environment.
The government announced that it has found a way to secure oil supply beyond the new year. This supply plan does not rely on the Strait of Hormuz route. Officials stated they will increase the proportion of these alternative sources. The goal is to ensure completely stable energy supply for Japan.
Prime Minister Takaishi spoke with UAE President Mohammed by phone. She requested the UAE's continued cooperation to ensure a stable supply of oil to Japan. This is important because the UAE is the country that supplies the largest share of oil imported into Japan.
The United States and Iran reached a 2-week ceasefire agreement on April 8th. Following this, Iran's foreign minister issued a statement. The statement confirmed that the Strait of Hormuz will allow safe passage for 2 weeks. This agreement is generating strong reactions across Japan.
Former Prime Minister Ishiba gave a speech in Seoul, Korea. He argued that Japan, the U.S., and South Korea must establish a framework to discuss nuclear deterrence. This is necessary due to North Korea's improvements in its nuclear and missile capabilities.
Tokyo Shoko Research announced that corporate bankruptcies in the 2025 fiscal year reached 10,505 cases. This marks a 3.55% increase and is the highest level in 12 years. The most common reasons for failure were linked to labor shortages, while bankruptcies due to high prices also increased significantly.
The Tokyo market saw a sharp rise, with the Nikkei average closing at 56,308.42, up 2,878.86 points. This increase was driven by hopes for stable oil supply following the U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. WTI oil futures dropped sharply, falling below $100 to the 90 cents. The ceasefire requires Iran to permit safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
Shohei Ohtani hit his third solo home run in 2 games as the Dodgers defeated the Blue Jays 14-2 in Toronto. The team secured a 4-game winning streak. Ohtani, who faced the Blue Jays in the World Series, hit 2 hits and 1 home run. He stated that he wants to forget the past and focus on playing well the next day.
Dodgers pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto started the game against the Blue Jays, pitching 7 innings and allowing only 1 run. This performance earned him his 2nd win of the season. The team played in Toronto, Canada. Other news included reports on other baseball players and minor updates regarding league rules.
Lakers player Rui Hachimura scored 15 points, leading the team's scoring efforts in a recent game. However, the Lakers ultimately lost the match, ending their winning streak. This report also included updates on other professional sports, including baseball and international news regarding peace talks.
A major brawl erupted during the Dodgers versus Braves game in Los Angeles. After a pitch that came too close to the head, the batter and pitcher became highly emotional. Players from the benches rushed onto the field. Kikuchi Yoshino started the game, but left the mound after 5 innings.
Rakuten pitcher Kenta Maeda was placed on the injured list. He was taken out of the game against Nippon Ham after straining his right calf. Although the team initially planned to observe his condition, Maeda missed the practice session for the following day's game.
A former member of the Kyushu Kokusai Dai baseball team filed a lawsuit in Fukuoka District Court. He is seeking over 20 million yen in damages. He alleges that the school failed to provide proper support after he suffered bullying and assault from his teammates.
The Japan Student Baseball Association suspended 2 high school baseball players from Nihon Dai 3 High School. The punishment lasts until May. This action was taken after the players were involved in distributing obscene videos on social media platforms.
Before the start of the Masters tournament, golf star Hideki Matsuyama practiced at the venue. He expressed his strong ambition to win the championship again. Matsuyama stated that he hopes to perform well and once again wear the prestigious green jacket.
Hanshin pitcher Koto Saki achieved a major milestone in a game against Yakult. He recorded 16 strikeouts, which tied the Central League record for strikeouts in a single game. This impressive performance highlights his pitching skill and dominance on the mound.
Shohei Ohtani hit a solo home run in the Blue Jays game. The opposing Blue Jays fans reacted strongly, covering their heads. Ohtani showed great form, hitting a powerful, ball-like pitch. He is scheduled to start the next game, continuing his impressive performance.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
The Defense Ministry announced that North Korea launched at least 1 ballistic missile on the afternoon of the 8th. It is believed to have fallen outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. As of 4 p.m., no damage was confirmed. Officials are analyzing the possibility that the missile traveled on an irregular trajectory.
The Defense Ministry announced that at least 1 ballistic missile was launched from North Korea. It is presumed that the missile fell outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. The Defense Ministry stated that it continues to maintain continuous alert and surveillance regarding the situation.
Japan's defense ministry announced on the 8th that a possible ballistic missile was launched from North Korea and presumed to have already fallen. The South Korean military stated that North Korea launched missiles on both the 7th and the morning of the 8th.
The South Korean Joint Staff reported that projectiles were launched from North Korea on the 7th and 8th toward the Sea of Japan. The 8th missile was identified as a short-range ballistic missile. The 7th projectile was also possibly a missile, but disappeared quickly. The 8th missile had an estimated range of about 240 kilometers.
The United States and Iran agreed to a 2-week truce on the morning of the 8th, according to Japan time. Following this agreement, Iran's foreign minister issued a statement. He confirmed that the Strait of Hormuz will allow safe navigation for 2 weeks.
Following Donald J. Trump's announcement of a 2-week truce with Iran, governments like Australia and Japan welcomed the news. Australia stated that prolonged war increases global economic impact and human casualties. Japan also welcomed the development, expressing hope for an early final agreement on the situation.
Following the announcement of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, the Japanese government remains cautious. Officials stated that the future is unpredictable and not optimistic. Safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz is vital for Japan, which relies on the Middle East for over 90% of its oil imports.
Military aggression continues from Russia against Ukraine. Battles are ongoing in various parts of Ukraine, and large numbers of citizens are evacuating the country. We continue to monitor the situation in Ukraine, including the combat status and the diplomatic efforts of related countries.
Australian Prime Minister Albanese held a call with Chinese Prime Minister Li Qiang. They discussed strengthening cooperation regarding regional energy security. This is important because China's fuel export ban is worsening energy supply chaos related to the war in Iran. The leaders agreed to boost communication support in this area.
Ukrainian President Zelensky announced that Ukrainian military personnel are participating in international discussions about safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. He also mentioned that Ukraine's defense expertise is now sought after across Asia. Ukraine successfully thwarted Russia's attempt to block access to the vital Black Sea.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
Reports of measles infections are rising across various areas. The total reported number for this year is 197 cases, marking the fastest increase since 2020. The Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare is urging people to ensure their children receive vaccinations and take necessary precautions.
2 Japanese oak trees fell in Kinuta Park in Setagaya Ward, Tokyo, temporarily blocking the road on the evening of the 7th. This marks the 4th fallen tree in the park within the last month. The Park Management Office is currently investigating the cause of these incidents and ensuring public safety.
The Economic Watcher Survey, which gauges workers' economic feelings, showed a concerning trend last month. The current economic index fell below the previous month for the 2nd consecutive month. This marks the lowest level recorded since February 2022, the start of the conflict in Ukraine.
NHK announced major executive personnel changes on the 7th. Effective the 25th, they promoted Mr. Masaki Hara to Senior Managing Director and appointed 9 new directors. 7 executives, including Mr. Hideo Koike, retired on the 24th. This overhaul is being led by Chairman Takahiko Inoue.
Lee Liko, the movie commentator and talent, announced that she has obtained Japanese permanent residency. She noted that she has lived in Japan for 38 years. She is originally from Sweden and married Ryohei Odai in 2017, celebrating this major life milestone.
Actress Ryoko Hirosui recently resumed her activities, announcing a gradual return to work, while she stated she would proceed cautiously. Acknowledging her personal limitations, her agency has supported this slow return. Despite her efforts to resume work, public opinion regarding her comeback remains significantly divided.
The Bonchi comedy duo won the grand prize at the 61st Kamigata Manzai Award. This prestigious award, held on the 7th in Osaka, is known for having one of the longest histories in the region. The duo was recognized for their performance, achieving a major victory in the comedy field.
Yoshino Mountain in Nara Prefecture is a famous cherry blossom spot nationwide. Currently, approximately 30,000 trees are blooming, featuring about 200 different types, especially the Shiroya Mazakura. Because so many blossoms are visible, the area is popularly known as having 1,000 blossoms at a glance.
A traditional tea ceremony was held at Shukeien, a nationally designated famous garden in Hiroshima City. Visitors attended the event, enjoying the fully bloomed cherry blossoms while savoring tea. The garden is known for its beautiful collection of cherry varieties, including Soma Yoshino and weeping cherries.
At Yoshi Station on the Matsura Railway in Nagasaki Prefecture, approximately 80 cherry trees are in full bloom. Delighting visitors, these beautiful trees were planted by local residents 25 years ago to enhance the area. The spot has become a popular gathering place for many people every year.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。